and I think we're back to another episode of Star Trek Next Frontier. I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe at least in the beginning of these recordings, because I just mentioned my computer is ancient, everything is very stuttery and herky-jerky in the video, so for anyone watching that, please forgive it. But anyhow, welcome to a new episode of Star Trek Next Frontier. It's a new, not new episode, and the reason why is this is the second session of episode 6, which name is, I would read it on screen, but it hasn't scrolled that far yet. The name is... Oh, what time? Where does it start? All Things Seen and Unseen. And as you know, I usually don't announce the name of the episode until we are done with the first session. And we are done with the first session. It did record, just not the audio. So anyone who may be watching this in the future, this is the second part of All Things Seen and Unseen. And we are hopefully going to give you a slightly more detailed recap of what led us to this point, even though you saw none of it. Does anyone want to start with the recap, or should I just give a general recap and then you do the character parts? But actually, the character stuff was basically the front half of that, and then more of the technicality started later. So, well, let me just go quick and you decide your order here. Just basically what happened in the last episode is Commander Lalk was taken away by the Klingon bird of prey Kira, the same bird of prey that you encountered a few episodes earlier, as they returned with a very personal mission for him to undertake. So he got his clearance from Captain Savick, and he left the ship to be with them. Meanwhile, while they wait for Lalk to wrap up with what he's doing with the Klingons, the crew, the DEGRASSE TYSON, are investigating some anomalies here in the sphere of Zilzik, the large, expansive, nebulous region past the holy seat of Zilzik, as they search for the final resting place of the USS Darwin, as they're continuing their search for that. They come across a very interesting anomaly that they go to investigate, which is a neutron star, which on its own is not that strange. However, the readings, the gravimetric readings surrounding the star, seem to suggest a much higher mass than what is actually present. So they are in orbit getting scans of this star for quite a long time, which adds to the unexpected downtime that the crew has. So the crew found themselves using the free time in a variety of ways, and all the while Ensign Lutant, the ship's counselor, forgot the word for a second, ship's counselor, was covering for Commander Lalk in doing the crew evaluations that need to be done. So Lutant was interviewing a lot of the members of the crew and trying to get down into how they're fitting in on the DEGRASSE TYSON while they wait for all these scans to complete. So as it was all a bunch of individual stories that were taking place there, who would like to share what your individual stories uncovered for you? Who would like to start?
I can go ahead first.
Yes, Ensign Lutant. How was that?
Yeah, so I had I was, or at least on camera, did two of the crew evaluations. So starting with Lieutenant Drake, of course, Lutant needed to speak with him because of his recent imprisonment, and so that was a large focus of their discussion. And it seemed that Drake was handling it fairly well, but that's more than likely because he only suffered the trauma of his current clone's history. It's not as though all of the experiences that each Drake had are compounded. So thankfully At least so far, he only has a singular trauma to deal with.
But there's another
Um,
Drake out there with a lot more
yeah,
trauma.
at least one more.
At least one more.
And then, yeah, and then after that was the meeting with Lieutenant Weber, and that more so focused around his recent transfer to the ship and just making sure that everything is working out for him in his new placement. Uh, so yeah, their Lutant is ready for when the other crew members come back to uh, talk to each of them individually. Uh, don't spoil the surprise for them by telling them.
Yeah. Yeah. Let them discover on their own. And they definitely don't know now since the first part of the episode doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, they don't get to find out about that. And a little fun fact for all of you out there who are writing the entry for Next Frontier in the new Star Trek Encyclopedia, Lieutenant Weber has been on board the DeGrasse Tyson for 3 weeks and 4 days. That was established last time, but again, that does not exist anymore. So I have to put it out there now. Okay. So thank you very much, Lutant. Yeah, and again, I also want to say that those were some of the best role-playing scenes that we've seen thus far in the game, and for the umpteenth time, they no longer exist. So I'm still stewing in anger over this. So I'm probably going to bring it up multiple times. Please forgive me. Who would like to go next? Hey. We're getting video here. We got live footage coming in from somewhere. Oh, yeah, we lost our live feed. We were going to live to Bejor, but yeah, sorry.
I hit the wrong button. It's supposed to be the mic.
Oh, I thought we were going to get this big reveal or something. Okay, that's okay.
No.
All we got was a sofa. Okay, but that's okay.
So bad, as you could probably see. Yes.
Would you like to go next, Lieutenant Weber?
Yes.
Okay, then please do.
Well, I had my Bajoran shrine installed just next to the science station where it belongs, because the purpose is to study the measurable effects that religious practice has on the body and the brain. So I had this extra scanner installed that's, in addition to the usual scans that the computer does all the time, goes deeper into the body functions and everything that's going on in the body and the brain. And I think I already asked someone to step in just for a minute. Was it Drake? Yeah. And couldn't look at the readings yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And I think when talking to Lutant, we also went into my family history, or my past, which is me growing up as a Bajoran with adoptive parents in Hamburg, and which meant that I grew up pretty much in an atheistic surrounding, which doesn't really sound Bajoran, but which led to my view on religion, which is, I see the importance it has on culture and society, but I don't really believe there's anything supernatural about it, but want to study it from a scientific standpoint. And I did most of the scans, I think, about of this neutron star, and I think I was just about to try and find out if the star has moved or if it has stayed at this exact same spot. I think that's something that came up in the chat after the episode. So
yeah.
Okay. So I'll do that next, I guess.
Okay. All right, and then Lieutenant Drake, you are the last. Would you like to share what you were up to in the first half of this non-existent episode?
Yeah. So, as Lutant said, Drake is doing absolutely fine after his imprisonment and is just casually spending every possible free moment in the holodeck running combat simulations and bodyguard missions, kind of like he's got stuck on something and he can't quite deal with it. But anyway, he's beating stuff up, so it's fine. So he spent most of his time there annoying the rest of the crew because nobody else can use the holodeck. And the only reason he left is due to getting a call from John Doe, who's still alive, which is against my expectations, but we'll see. The Shran was arrested, which was a bit of a surprise, but this is due to an altercation he had in the mess hall whilst playing with his guns. So once Drake heads over to find out what the heck went on, apparently the Shran's just refusing to apologize or leave. So Drake goes over to try and see what's happening. The Shran's not very helpful and doesn't want to leave still. So I go around trying to find out what he's finally doing with the phasers, which he spent all of his time in the cafeteria playing with. And so weirdly surprisingly, and I'm looking forward to trying to find out in the future, he's modded all the phasers so that it doesn't go beyond max stun. So kill option is no longer an option. So I spent some time with Velik down in engineering, having a good old chat with my pal to get the phasers fixed, and I sent my crews off to go and change them all, as well as thinking about adding passwords to the damn thing so people can't, go about willy-nilly playing with the phasers. I went to the shrine with Weber, got a bit concerned about all the fire hazards. But yeah, beyond that, we then got back to the what's it called?
Neutron
bridge.
Oh, okay.
Bridge. The word brig was in my head. I'm like, no, there's a couple more letters in there. Which ones? Bridge. And yeah, right now we're getting repeatedly warped to the neutron star over and over again, which is, well, not warped, we're flying in one direction, but coming back from the other. So
yeah, so that's basically an same thing that Lieutenant Weber was alluding to, that after this was going on, the scans were complete, and like, we got all our scans here, we'll process the data, move on, see what's going on. The ship did try to leave. The DEGRASSE TYSON attempted to leave when they came across another identical neutron star. But all signs pointed to it being the same neutron star. So they decide, okay, well, this time we are going to try to warp out of here, try to warp away, get away as fast as possible. Lieutenant Weber suggested warp 4. The crew sets the heading away at a different angle, but clearly an exit path away from the star. And it didn't go very well. Lots of shaking, lots of shimmying, lots of rocking. And the stresses were going to build up to the point which would be dangerous for the ship. So it was pulled out of warp with, again, a couple ensigns being tossed here and there onto the ground. The way it should be in that situation. And they were there faced with this star yet again. So that's where we left off. And Lieutenant Weber, you said your first choice, you want to try to check whether you are coming back to the star or if the star is following you.
Yes.
That's what you want to find out, right?
The thing is, I'm not sure we can trust the sensors in situations like this. So I might just order the computer to compare the star fields and the recordings that we have, surroundings.
Okay.
And yeah. So.
And I believe we talked in the chat after the last game about this, how you had like some extra bonus momentum left over. Because this is the type of question when you do a scan, that bonus momentum spend, like this kind of question, that would be the perfect use on. So without having to do another roll or anything like this, you already gained that momentum from your previous roll, even though you didn't really think you had anything to use it on. So this is a perfect choice. So just using that spend from the previous episode will show that indeed the stars are matching up to the same position. The neutron star itself is not moving. It's just you keep coming back to it. And another point I want to bring up again, you launched some probes at the end too, and you watched their orbit as they were going off, and it's showing that they are indeed orbiting wider than they should for this star, really suggesting that, yeah, there is something causing this gravity spike, even though the neutron star clearly doesn't have the mass for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a couple more points we had to bring up. So yes. But now you know, you are the ones coming back to the star. The star's not coming to you.
Is there any way to find out if the computer is affected by this anomaly, or would I have to do some, I don't know, scan some hubs or something? Because I want to do some Jeffrey tubes crawling. So.
Now you would have to do a diagnostics on the computer, maybe even at the computer core itself, just to make sure it's okay. But again, from what you can see, the readings of the computer themselves, they don't seem to be wrong, even though it's not matching up, because the fact the probes themselves are physically altering their course as if the center of gravity was not the neutron star itself, but somewhere off of the star. So even the way they are behaving physically out there kind of suggests that, yeah, the computer isn't wrong. There is definitely something causing this additional gravity that you just cannot see.
Well, my character might come up with some ideas. I do not.
Okay, so if you have nothing else to add there, Captain Savik on the bridge, she's asking for reports on what's happening. She wants to know why the ship can't get away from the star no matter what direction they're going to. And she's asking also what was causing all of that shaking and potentially life-threatening damage to occur by using warp. So everyone on the bridge is scrambling to their consoles. Drake, you're on the bridge now too, correct? Were you not on the bridge? I should actually...
I don't think I was, but obviously after the whole ship shaking like crazy, I would definitely be making my way there.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Lutant down below, where is... I need to get... Yeah, I have so many windows open. So let's see, the bridge looks kind of like this. So yeah, it looks like, Drake, you were on the bridge at the time. There you were. So I think you got up there by that time. So that's who's on the bridge, if we can see that. And I don't know if we can. Okay. Oh, just a reminder, you have 4 momentum left from the previous episode, and there's 6 threats still. Okay, Captain Savik looks over at her crew, all the senior officers, including Lieutenant Alder, who's there. Says, I'd like you to find out as much information as possible as to what is causing this anomaly and what is preventing us from escaping. Let's reconvene for a meeting in 30 minutes. Meanwhile, and she calls out to the ensign on the con, which I will look up his name. I forget what his name is, unfortunately. Lutant, you interviewed him last time. Do you remember what his name is? Me too.
Yeah. I do not. Yeah. You really are asking me to remember a name.
Yeah, I know. You can't remember your own characters' names. What the heck am I talking about? Why am I doing this? Okay, or at least say them, pronounce them the same way twice in a row. That's another thing. Okay, so she calls out to him and asks him to maintain a stable orbit around the star until they figure out a course of action to take. So it's going to be up to you all to kind of come together and figure out what's going on. Lutant, what would you like to be doing at this time? or you as the player too? What would you like to be doing? All three of you, in fact.
Hmm. Well, to be honest, I think that I might just quasi shelf Lutant for some of this episode, and say that she's continuing, or they are continuing to do crew evaluations, and can just pick up another side character who could actually help with the current crisis.
That's probably going to be for the best for this section here, until you see a moment that Lutant can return to do their thing, of course. So I think what would be good then, maybe have you all do a little powwow together, what kind of information you're going to need to figure out, or what course of action you're going to take, and that would probably help him choose which character or which new character he might be using for whatever your course of action is going to be. But right now, what you do have, just a reminder, you do have the 30 hours worth of scan data that is still unprocessed that you could try to go through and try to figure out what's going on. You have the orbits of the probes themselves suggesting that there is a different center of gravity in the system than the neutron star itself. And neutron star is a massive source of gravity, and the fact that it's not the center of gravity, and the fact that you're getting wildly inconsistently high readings of gravity, even though there's nothing there that you can physically see, suggests that there is definitely more to meets the eye. So those 2 points are still up. So
do we have a way yet to peek into parallel universes in a way, kind of changing the scanners so that they can look for something that we cannot see, but that's, I don't know, seems to be there anyway.
So like subspace, yeah, there would be, to a degree. Now you do know from previous adventures, which is how the Shackleton Expanse is, with the anomalies and the subspace rifts and everything, that there was at least one hole that was torn open to another universe, that you narrowly avoided a catastrophe by sealing that before Omega Particle could explode and wipe out the entire sector. So you know that there are rifts and things like that around in this area. So were you to find a rift like that, you would be able to scan directly into another area, but otherwise you could just do general subspace scans, which that's kind of the buffer zone between all these different universes anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could do something to that degree.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Okay, so you want to do a subspace scan, and in particular, what are you looking for? Or what would you be hoping to find? What kind of information?
Well, if it's, I was just thinking that maybe there is some, there's another star because of this gravitational irregularity. So, but apparently we cannot see it. So it might, I don't know, it might be popping up every now and then or something.
Okay.
Just watch the Orville episode with this planet reappearing every 700 years. So.
Oh, which one was that? The Voyager episode?
No, the Orville.
Oh, yeah. Which season?
There.
Which season was that?
I think it's the second one, where they the first time they visit there in the Stone Age basically, and they see what's her name again? The female.
The lead. Commander, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget her name. Yeah.
And then I think she's a god, and then its
Yeah.
planet pops up every 700 years in its own. So
Yeah,
in
I'm
that-
watching the new
then-
season now, and they just referenced that episode again. So I just
okay.
watched like the episode yesterday that they mentioned that. I thought you were thinking of the Voyager episode where they were stuck in the orbit, and it was but there was also the Deep Space Nine episode where the planet keeps popping in and out of existence. So, oh yeah, David, you're watching Deep Space Nine now. See, that's probably fresh on your mind. So yeah, okay. So you're going to be looking for like a hidden star that might pop in. And
Yes,
okay.
something like that.
All right, perfect. Just heard me talk again in my ear. Drake, what are you, from a tactical perspective, going to do? Or again, if you would like to investigate from a different department too, you and Lutant can discuss whether you're going to take over a different character at the time, but might not be necessary right now. Just keep in mind, because we're running low on crew.
Yeah, I might swap out as well a little further down the line to see what happens. I mean, Drake does have his little bit of science background, so he might want to finally get involved with something sciencey.
Yeah.
After punching holographic things all day. But no, Drake does have a suggestion on how to help narrow down where the star is. If we find the center of the probe's orbit, which should be a relatively easy calculation, I mean, it's just circumference and whatnot. So we can then focus the scanners, and particularly the subspace scanners, on that area to find if we can see, because it's potentially a very small whatever it is, be a rift or whatever. So we can at least narrow down the area that we're looking for.
Are you doing the TNG thing where Worf goes to the back in the science console and everyone just stands around in the huddle there and everyone just gives their answer? So you're right behind Lieutenant Vega.
Do that. Press that button.
Yeah. Okay.
No, do the other thing.
That sounds like a course of action. Lutant, are you going to jump on anything now, or are you just going to wait and see what's happening?
You mean character-wise?
Character-wise, yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking through them, and I think I will go ahead and take over James the Web Fox.
Yeah. His character sheet is on roll 20, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I need to open up the thing so I get... Yeah, there it is.
So I think that James, having given his background, will okay, he's first class. So he will be looking at this from more of an astrophysics mathematical perspective.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, he's not the one with mathematics. I'm getting confused. Okay, no, this is a computer. So I'm going to have him approach it from a making sure the ship systems are accurate, and that this isn't a issue with the scanners or anything along those lines.
Okay. All right.
And if it is, then trying to reconfigure the scanners in order to adapt to whatever this anomaly is and be able to better model it.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. So, is he on the bridge right now? There he is. Let's pull him onto the bridge. Do you want him on the bridge?
No, probably in the science area.
Science.
So science. I guess I'm working on engineering, or I'm going to be trying to reprogram the scanners. So I guess on the bridge works. Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll keep him at the engineering station on the bridge. How's that? So there's Fox there, so he's getting on that. All right. So let's see the order that we should be tackling this first. I think maybe making sure that the scanners are okay before you start using the scanners for the work you have to do. So Lieutenant Fox, or Specialist Fox, excuse me, you're not a lieutenant. What am I talking about? So Specialist Fox will do the roll first. So it's basically, you're just doing diagnostics, correct?
Yes.
Just making sure that they're okay. So that would be a regular control plus engineering, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have any focus that applies?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm just updating everything in Zoom right now.
Sure.
So the title would be Specialist then, right?
Yeah. I think he's a non-com.
Okay. Let's see.
There he is. Hey, Fox, welcome.
Okay, so he has a focus in computers.
Okay.
So I think that's the closest.
Yeah, that works because I would say that works at least. You're making sure that the computers are processing. That was also what Weber was worried about, whether the computers are having problems. So might as well run the scan on that, yeah.
He has cautious engineering, which
cautious engineering is when you use momentum. When you use momentum to roll a die, you get an extra reroll on it, I believe. God, it's been a while, but that is cautious, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Complication is just 1.
Yeah, so I apologize. That's going to be a difficulty of 1. It's not going to be that hard, so it's a difficulty of 1. Complication range of 1 as well.
Okay, and that's task roll, right?
And that's a task roll, yeah. So are you using any momentum on? I guess not.
No.
Okay. Okay, because again, remember, if for any kind of thing like that, you have to announce for like cautious or what's the other one when you
bold?
Are bold.
Yeah, bold.
Yeah, when you use cautious or bold, you have to do that before you make your roll. Okay, and you got one success. That's all you needed. So there you go. Yep. I keep forgetting your name. I want to say Lalk and Lutant, and now it's Fox. Okay. Yeah, so Fox is running the scans, and you get back that everything is good to go. The sensors are fully aligned. The computer itself is processing. There's no problems there, so you could report that to Lieutenant Weber or Drake that they are good to go with their scans.
All right. Then, Lieutenant Weber, it seems that all scanning systems are in working order. There's nothing. The anomaly appears to be an anomaly in space and not an anomaly in our code.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's next? Who's going to do the next one?
I think Drake should.
Yeah, I can do my little mathematic calculations. Finally pretending to be a scientist again.
Okay, and so you are basically just you're trying to find where
the center of the orbit is.
So it's basically just a pretty simple calculation of watching that. So that shouldn't be hard at all. I'm going to say that's also going to be a difficulty of 1 as well.
And science and reason?
Science and reason should be fine. If you are, since you're using the sensors to help, also somebody can roll for the sensors on the DGT as well. Since sensors or computers, what are you using for it? Computers.
Would be computers, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, don't get the advanced sensor suite thingy, but not advanced sensor suite, but the thingy thing. That's what it is. What is it? Computers and science. Computers and science for the DGT. Whoever wants to roll that.
What are the numbers on it?
It's going to be computers and science, just 1 and 1.
Let's see. Computers and science and 1-1. Got it.
Okay. Just also make sure, because I never know if it's set that way or not, but make sure that the DEGRASSE TYSON always has focus on as yes. Okay? So just make sure. All right, well, you got 1 extra. Nothing. Hey! There. You got one momentum generated. That was the difficulty 1. You got 2 successes. So yeah, you are doing your scan, and you're able to find a central point of the gravity by watching the motion of the probe, by scanning the intensity of the gravity. So you find what would be the area in space, which is quite a ways off from the neutron star. So, I mean, again, it's space, so space is massive, as I'm sure you're aware. But it's quite a ways off. If I could go back to the neutron star on here, just so we have a scene. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
So, hey, there's the little DGT. It's all blurry on my screen. I hope it's not on yours. Okay, so basically the neutron star is dead in the center there of like that swirling gas cloud. But where you see the probes going, it's literally hundreds of thousands of kilometers off. So you know that's the general area where Lieutenant Weber should be doing his scanning. Now,
okay.
Again, if you...
And now that I know that, I think I won't scan particularly for a star, because it was just a wild guess, but for anything that might be there.
Anything there. Okay, so a broader thing. Drake, would you like to spend 2 of your momentum to create a advantage to lower the difficulty for him, because just to make sure you're constantly getting that thingy thing in. So no matter what, there it is.
Definitely.
Can you see it?
I'll transfer the. We can see. Yeah. And
okay.
The science game, not a magic one.
Haha. All right. So advantage is created. You're sending all the data, live streaming it to the console across from you. So Weber can do his scan. So, Lieutenant, this is going to be a difficulty 4. Because, I mean, you don't really know what you're locking onto in this thing. But the advantage that Drake has just created to you knocks it down to 3. And the advanced sensor suite of the DEGRASSE TYSON knocks that down to 2. So you're starting at a difficulty of 2 for this scan, in addition to anything else that you may spend or do with it.
I don't think my talents would help.
Let's see, talents.
Well, testing a theory would help if I were looking for a star specifically, but I mean, like I said, it was just a wild guess. So
let's see here. Let's see. Spirited Discovery.
I keep getting kicked out from Roll20. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah,
I mean, look at my profile.
That's really weird. If you can't do it, somebody else could roll for you. If they could open your character sheet, that's okay. If not, I do have all these fancy little dice I have here that I don't get to roll. So there's always that. So let's see. Yeah, looking at your things. Yeah, maybe not for this scan. Let's see. Untapped potential always can come into play, so you could always use that. But again, you'd have to buy the dice before the roll.
Yeah. I mean, can't really afford to fail this one. So yeah, I'll buy another one.
Okay, 1 die. Momentum or threat?
I think momentum.
Okay. Oh no, does my threat disappear when I did the magic trick? I can't remember. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Unless it disappears on my chest too. Where is it?
Yeah, could you roll for me? I'm
really? All right. Who wants to roll for Weber? I mean, I could do it, but I'd rather have other people roll, even though I got these beautiful little dice here. They're just awesome.
Keep saying my browser isn't supported, but
Why?
I've never had this problem before.
Well, just like we never had the problem with OBS not recording your voices up until the last episode, but apparently things change randomly for no reason at all. Let's see. Chris, do you want to do the roll for him since you're already rolling for multiple people? Can you open up Lieutenant Weber's sheet, or did I not unlock those again? Because
I've got it.
Have issues. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so again,
that's
what are our numbers?
So it's going to be a control and science for him.
Control science, okay.
Because he's running the scanners on it. And he's doing untapped potential, so he's rolling an extra die, so it's 3 dice there.
So complication range no. Complication is 2, task is 3, right?
Complication is 1, task is 3.
Oh, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, task is 3. And focus used?
No focus.
No focus, okay.
Hey, look at that. 3 successes, and you only needed 2, so you got back the 1 momentum that you spent. And you also, he gets to roll 1 challenge die also, since he used untapped potential.
Oh, roll 1 in addition? Okay.
1 challenge die, so make sure it's a challenge die, not the D6s.
What?
1 die, what does it say? 2 and 1.
I'm not sure.
I'm kind of baffled by that myself. I don't recall ever seeing that before.
Do you want me to try it, see what happens if I roll again?
Yeah, just roll again just to see what it does. Okay, that makes more sense. Can you roll 1 more time?
Yeah.
That also makes sense. Can you roll 1 more time? That makes a lot of sense. So what the heck?
What happened the first time?
Yeah. So everything else after that makes sense. Okay. Next roll. This is the actual roll. Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. It's a 2 and a 1 again. Okay. All right. There we go. So what that does, since it's an effect, you get 1 more momentum and 1 more threat comes back in. Okay. What was that? 21 or 2 and 1 on 1 die? That's... Yeah, clearly there's something going wrong with all of our resources today. Okay, but anyhow, that was an amazing roll. So he's doing the scan, and let me go into my notes now. So, let's see. Yeah, Lieutenant Weber, you start detecting that there seems to be a massive gravity signature, like almost like a gravity shadow, emanating from subspace in that area. So it's nothing that's in the real physical world that you could see here, but it's something that's either existing in subspace or something, again, like you mentioned, it could be from another universe that is broken into subspace, and then that has broken into this universe as well. So the effects of that gravity is coming from somewhere in that region, even though there's nothing actually there, physically there, to create it.
Yeah, I'll share that with everyone else. And I'm just wondering, when we're coming back to the star, when we were trying to get away and then came back, were we just pulled back, or were we jumping around like some?
Aside from the time when you tried to go to warp and everything went crazy, just your usual impulse course, It seemed as if you were traveling normally. There was no yanking back. There was no pulling. You just headed off, and eventually you found yourself coming back to the star.
Okay, so there must have been some kind of jump, or being put somewhere else where we were not just pulled back. So there was something weird happening. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. What do we do?
Well, it's almost time to go have the meeting in the conference room, so everyone could just reconvene there and discuss it with the captain.
One suggestion before we
Sure.
go. If we know roughly where obviously we sent a probe out to orbit the neutron star, which then got pulled over to this other area. We now know roughly where it is, especially after your scans. Do we not want to try and launch a probe at the gravity to see what we can pick up? Perhaps it might disappear into some other universe, or more than likely it's just going to get crushed by gravity, but it might give us something else before we go off and tell the captain we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Then that would be Fox, the engineer, no?
Sure. Fox can handle those probes. You don't really have to roll anything for the probe, I would say. No need to just add unnecessary rolls here for that. So, instead, say that you fire a probe at the coordinates that Lieutenant Weber has given you. And as the probe gets closer, it starts giving naturally increased gravity readings. Its course starts going wild because it's getting pretty much the forces of the gravity start working on it as if it's going into something very dense and massive. So it starts straying and pretty much malfunctioning by the time it gets there. It's still not detecting what the source may be, but clearly the readings that are coming in that you see on your screens are showing that there is a massive gravity signature, as if there's something in there. The probe itself, it's not really getting crushed or anything, as if it's entering a true physical body, but the effects of gravity are clearly messing it up as it gets closer and closer. Until finally, it just dies before it gets there.
Can we still physically see it?
The probe?
Yeah.
Your sensors still detect the probe is still there, even though you're no longer getting telemetry from it.
Is it still moving through, or is it like just frozen in place within the gravity?
It's pretty much as you're watching its orbit, or its course, I should say, it starts tumbling wildly as if it's trying to adjust itself based on what's there, and then what isn't there is pulling it in another direction. So it's constantly trying to calibrate its course until it finally gets so messed up it's knocked offline and just starts tumbling wildly. It passes through the area, it doesn't disappear, and it seems to be taking on a gradual dead orbit of everything else that's slowly orbiting in that area.
Okay. I got nothing.
Anything else before you go into the conference room to talk through a course of action? Nothing?
Not from me. I don't know.
Start the discussion.
All right, let's go to the conference room. Figure out what the heck's going on. And let's see what's in the conference room. Can we see the conference room? I think we can. Okay. So after, again, about 30 minutes or so, the crew assembles into the conference room to share their ideas. There's going to be a lot of nodding and agreeing by many of the crew members without their voice actually being heard. But for the rest of you, it's a chance to discuss it. So the captain looks over your data, and she says, "Clearly, I believe your theory is correct, Lieutenant Weber. It does appear that there is something, possibly a star, judging by how massive these readings are, bleeding through from a layer of subspace that we cannot see. However, even if that were the case, I'm curious as to why we cannot escape from this region."
My wondering is, depending on how this gravity may be coming through, rather than us being pulled back, perhaps the gravity is so strong, the way it's come through has started to bend space towards it. So we're not actually getting pulled back or teleporting back. The space is bent so that whilst we go forward, we end up just going straight back, because that's how space is here due to this gravity pull.
Commander Velik, the engineer, Velik, your good friend Velik, would speak up. "Are you referring to the phenomenon known as frame dragging?"
Yes, of course. Drake's like, yes, that one, yes. I didn't know you'd know that word.
Interesting.
Well, we've only sent probes directly at it. Maybe we should start sending probes in different directions to try and map the trajectory of space, of the local space.
That could be one way to confirm.
Yes.
Especially if we send the probes with an initial burst of acceleration and then turn off any engines and just let them free float on their inertia and see which direction the gravity pulls them.
Didn't I, the last time, did I look for patterns in these outbursts?
The gravity?
Yeah.
Oh, the gravity. I
think
you were looking for whether the gravity was consistent or if it was coming and going, and it seemed to be consistent.
Oh, okay. So we can't calculate any windows where it's weak, and we could just go to warp 7 or something, and okay. So yeah.
No, but if we map the directions, if we map how the space is curved, we might be able to find an angle where we can do a modified gravity slingshot in order to essentially ride around a corner and gain enough momentum that it would break us free of the gravity going out the other side. That's assuming that we're only trying to escape the current situation rather than fully understand and investigate it.
Personally, rather investigate it from the outside rather than inside the experiment myself.
But if we're already here...
I mean, in the meantime, we have to be here, yeah. We can carry on for now. Oh, did we determine whether or not the neutron star is giving off any gravity itself?
Yes, you definitely know that it has its own gravity, especially because you see the gases collecting around it. It's just the gravity reading for the whole area is far too strong for the mass of this star. Even though neutron star itself is already pretty darn impressive mass-wise on its own. So the captain will speak up then, and she'll say, "I believe that's an excellent idea, Mr. Fox. Perhaps you and Mr. Velik can get on that down in engineering to make sure the probes are properly calibrated for this task. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Weber, perhaps if you are looking more into the information from the scans that we picked up over the past day, you might be able to find something to assist them in determining the best course of action on an escape velocity or escape angle.
Yes, ma'am.
Until then, I believe, as has been mentioned, while we are stuck here, I suppose we should make the most of it and get as much data as we can, because I am also in agreement with Mr. Drake. Once we get out of this experiment, I would prefer to study it from the outside and not return.
Sounds good, Mark. Glad you agree.
Is there anything
I
else?
thought a science ship would be a little more excited about being stuck in a unseen phenomenon than this, but I guess you guys are just like every other crew, all worried about your lives and not about the science.
Y'all are punks! Y'all are punks! That's why you're a guest star, Mr. Fox. Now get off my bridge. Y'all are punks! He's screaming in the halls. Before we leave, Velik will speak up again. Captain, I believe there's one more issue that I should bring up now that we are all gathered here. She nods for him to go on. Unfortunately, the extreme gravity of this area has been interfering with the dilithium matrix as well. We are currently unable to restore the power that we are expending. To clarify, if we are not to escape from this phenomenon with our attempts, we are not going to be able to have enough power to get out ever.
Fox.
With our current power levels, how many approximate attempts can we make?
Currently, it is not much of an issue. It just would depend on how much strain is put on the ship and how much is required of us for whatever escape attempt we do make, because we are not going to be able to regain whatever we expend.
How long are we going to be able to power the ship?
Currently, if we remain here and do nothing, we shall have a few weeks left running at moderate daily power supplies. However, the more we use the systems, the faster this will go down, of course, and I believe that any attempt to escape is going to require a significant amount of energy from our stores.
Well, maybe it would be a bit longer if Lieutenant Drake would stop leaving the fridge door open and forgetting to turn lights off when he leaves the room.
Yes, I've also been meaning to bring this up. The refrigerator in the break room has not been closed properly for the past 3 weeks. Everyone gets on Drake's case.
It's too hot here.
I also don't see why Lieutenant Drake insisted on installing it, being that we do have working replicators that could create any kind of chilled beverage that he desires.
It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. Replicated stuff is never the same, even the cold. It's the wrong type of cold.
Okay, he bites his tongue on the rest. If that is all, the captain finally speaks up, cutting off the refrigerator talk. Then I believe we have our mission. Any crew who is non-essential to solving this problem, please either continue the scans, continue analyzing the data, or off-duty, use as little power as possible.
So the holodecks are out the question?
Depending on what the holodecks would be used for, yes.
Oh. then I will help Verva go through the data we generated, as I'm sure there's quite a lot there.
Very good. You have your orders. She stands up and leaves. Okay, so let's see here. It is almost 3 o'clock, so it's slightly early. So why don't we take our 10-minute break? Everyone could get your ideas where you want to be working and doing your job here, and then when we come back, we'll try to see if you all die.
Yay!
Sounds good.
As
just what Fox wants.
Yeah, that's what the fox says. All right, everyone. We're going to take our break. So 10 minutes. Do what you need to do. We'll be back. So see you. See you. I got to figure out what am I doing? What am I doing? And we are back from our brief break. It's time to see what is going on with the crew. So what is... costume change, because I'm sweating. And now I put on the heavier, hotter costume just to compensate for the sweat, because I'm dumb. Okay, so what is going on, crew members? What are we doing?
I believe me and Weber are sat next to each other looking at lots and lots of documents.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Because you decide to print them out on paper instead of look on the computer this time, right? Yeah.
Velik was not happy.
Yeah. He's like, stop using energy. And you're just Epson's going... Bzz, 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 bzz. It's
on a computer screen.
It's the old dot matrix printer, too. Okay, and then Specialist Fox is going to be down in engineering, working on the probes and his probe idea, correct?
Yeah, so working on the probes... actually making modifications to the probes to try and make them sturdier to be able to withstand more pressure, and to just to shield the transmitters in them, so that even when everything else stops functioning, we can still receive data from them as long as possible. And in order to do that, are reducing their engine capabilities, because they only need to have a short burst of initial energy. Since we just want them to, we don't need them to continuously accelerate. And if they don't, and we're assuming that they're not going to come back. So they just need the initial momentum or movement. And then we just want to watch how the gravity affects that movement.
Okay.
So they only need minimal engines and maximal protection and sensors and communications arrays.
All right. Well, since your idea is pretty well laid out, why don't we start in engineering and do that then? How's that sound?
All right.
Let's see here. Let's go to engineering. Main engineering, in fact, not your standard substitute engineering that we don't like. Drake, you're not there. Get out of here. There you, Weber. What the hell's going on? Let's see. Hey, Specialist Fox, welcome. Is he seen? Is all this seen? Yeah, it looks like it's on screen. It's on screen here. There we go. All right, so down in main engineering, working on that. Lieutenant Commander Lalk comes up to you. Specialist Fox, I want to commend you on a very, I would say, logical idea for how to go about mapping this area if space is indeed bent as Lieutenant Drake believes.
Thank you, sir. I am very interested, very intrigued by this problem and by our current situation. I think I might be enjoying it a little more than many of the other crew members currently are.
I cannot deny that having a challenge like this before us presents a number of research opportunities that we are not normally granted, so I too must admit to be slightly more intrigued than our fellow crewmen in finding out more about this phenomenon. However, the task does remain that we need to get out of here alive, so it doesn't matter how much research that we collect. It will do us no good if there's no one around to share it with.
Well, I don't want to sound too Vulcan, but we must use the opportunities that are afforded us to the best of our ability, and approach this from a sound and scientific standpoint, and not one of dismay or fear.
Indeed, and well said, Specialist. So, getting to the roll down there, you got a lot of modifications you want to do on the probe. So, modifications of this type would probably just be a control and engineering again. And I don't know if I don't think Fox yet has any talents or anything, since he was a barely used. Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, he has a yeah.
He has what?
For talent, I mean, he has a whole list of talents.
Oh, does he?
Yep, he's got collaboration engineering,
Okay.
Untapped potential,
good.
Little more power, and cautious engineering.
Oh, well, there we go. So how would any of those applicable for what he wants to do? I would say modifying the probe is something like this. For the extensive modifications that you want to do, it's going to be a difficulty of 2. Of 2. And it's also going to have a complication range of 2 as well, to account for all of the unknowns that are involved in exactly where the safety, the sweet spot, I should say, is to send these out without any problems.
And I mean, I guess collaboration doesn't really work yet. I'm only working with Velik on it, right? So
yeah, collaboration is, I believe that, God, it's been a while we used the collaboration skill. I think collaboration is one where somebody can use your skill on it. Jeez, I should have opened up.
Yeah.
So since you're the one taking the lead, you're not lending it. I'm pretty sure that's what collaboration. I should really have opened up all the talents in that. It's been so long. I can't believe I forget. Well, no, I certainly believe I forget. Anything else you had there?
Probably just do the cautious engineering. Use the cautious to get a reroll.
Yeah, collaboration is to lend your score to someone else with a point of momentum. All right, so cautious. So again, it does sound like Mr. Fox takes his time to do things properly. So cautious does seem to fit him well. So okay, so cautious is when you buy an extra die, you're able to re-roll that die if you buy it with momentum.
All right.
Right now, again, you're at 4 momentum still, and I believe 7 threat now. 7 threat now.
Yeah, I will use the momentum then.
Okay.
So that's how many dice task roll?
That would be a 3 dice for task roll, and again, it's a difficulty of 2, so you're going to need at least 2, but your cautious will give you a single die reroll for this.
Right, so complication 2, task roll 3.
Task roll 3, complication range of 2, and you're looking for 2 successes.
And okay. And focus. I guess focus used on maybe not.
What are his focuses again? Anything that would help with collaborating or calibrating?
I mean, precise to a fault.
Oh, precise to a fault. Well, based on the role play that you're doing and the fact that he's cautious, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it to you. Sure, why not?
Okay.
So yeah, focus use, yes. And I will say again, if you wanted to do something like having Velik support you, or I guess not. Okay, so
Sorry.
that's why I was holding
Well,
up
we
my
got the
hand
3.
earlier. That's why I was holding up my hand earlier. Nobody looks at my hand. They're beautiful. Look at these. Now, okay, so you got 3. Oh, why is it not updating on here again? Do I always have to click that? There we go. 3, perfect. So you actually got your momentum back. And there you go.
Okay.
Okay, so you're working on the probes. You're making the adjustments that you need, and they will be fired off shortly. How's that sound?
Perfect.
All right. Going back up to the bridge, I assume that is where that's where you, and you being the anomalous non-entity I'm speaking to at the moment. The bridge is where Weber and Drake, that's a name I'm looking for, are doing the scans or reviewing the information, or are you doing it elsewhere?
I'm fine with the bridge.
Fine with the bridge. Bridge is a popular spot. Okay, then let's go to the bridge. All right, so you're at the science stations in the back. There we go. So you're at the science stations in the back, and you're going through the data, correct?
Mhm.
All right. So there's a lot of data here. There's a lot of data to go through with this. So let's see. So yo, I'm just going to cut this part out here. I'll skip to this page of the notes because, again, we're dealing with a smaller crew, and there's no reason to add extra stuff on that we don't need. Okay, so yes, so going through the data, this is going to be a let's see, utilizing this, yeah, reason plus science roll, or it could be insight plus science, or it could be supported by insight science. So if the two of you are doing it together, it's probably better one of you takes the lead and the other person acts as a support for it. Yes.
Well, that would be me supporting.
So whoever has reason and science. This is going to be. I'm sorry. Can I just get a confirmation one more time? What exactly, specifically, if you have in mind, I should say, what kind of information do you want to locate? For what reason? What is the aha information you're hoping to pull from this, scanning all the data there, aside from just the general help you with the mission thing at all? Is there something you have in mind for either of you that you would like to find from this data?
One thing I was thinking of would be comparing the data against known gravitational wells, be it black holes, other types of supernova class stars that we've been seeing before, just to try and get an idea of what's actually causing even though we can't see it, what it is we might be dealing with wherever it may be.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Lieutenant Weber, anything from you? Anything that you're hoping to pull from the data that could help you in any escape attempt or anything else?
Yeah, maybe it's kind of mapping out the effects so that we might, if we find a way to find a vector that might help us to get out of here, that some kind of map might help.
Okay. There we go. All right. So, going back to this. Okay, yeah, then we're good there. All right, so this is going to be, since there's going to be a lot of cross-referencing, you're saying, because you're one comparing to previous anomalies, and also you want to do kind of a mapping thing. This isn't sensor, so this is going to be supported by science. So, Chris, you could do the ship with the science, the computer roll here for the ship. As far as the difficulty of the roll here. This is going to be a difficulty 5, my friends, because, well, again, I did cut a few steps to get us to this point here to rush us anyhow. But here's the reasons why. So it's going to be difficulty 5 because, again, there's 30 hours worth of data. So, like, I don't know, gigatrillions and gigatrillion bytes of data that have been collected, and you're now trying to really sift through it as quickly as possible to find what you need, while you're still also running additional like simulations, like you said, David, and that. So there's a massive amount of data, plus you don't even really know what the entity is that's causing this gravity. So there's a lot of unknowns that are coming up here. So it is again a difficulty of 5, but again you have the lead, you have the assist, and you also have the computer support too. So you got at least 4 dice coming in currently for the roll. With that in mind, it's still a very difficult roll. So what can you apply to this situation?
Would Spirit of Discovery help the talent?
Spend 1 determination.
Quite sure that
so that would be a way to get more momentum back, correct? Right now you have 3 momentum, so in this case, maybe Spirit of Discovery itself would not be as helpful as using a value for a determination spend on its own. I think that would be. And of course, untapped potential will always help you. Frank, anything on yours too? You want to take
Nothing
a look
that would particularly help. I'm just thinking that perhaps Weber can use some of the momentum for an extra dice, and then I can add some threat for an extra dice. That way, as we both got untapped potential, we can re-roll if need be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, although Drake did have a science beginning, he a bit of a dumbass, hence here we have insecurity punching things.
I'm actually not sure if you can use yours, David, since you're doing the assist here. I think you're just backing out. I think you're limited to just rolling that 1 die. I think so. I think so. It's been a while.
That's fine. Weber can use the threat and the momentum.
Yeah, you can always use a combination of either or. Yeah, you can mix and match threat and momentum for your bonus dice rolls. And again values, focus, determination spends, if there's anything there, if you want to. And again,
I don't have any focus. I'm too focused on cultural stuff.
Yeah,
I should have.
Well,
one that's more.
Technically, like, we usually have another science-based officer at Ops that is well equipped for all the science things. Well, your focus is in a different area, but unfortunately today he is busy keeping all the systems running at peak efficiency so the power doesn't drain too fast. So that's why he can't help you on this. But he's there. You can see him over your shoulder. Okay. So
would it be easier if we just both of us would just do the individual thing? So I would look for
because you're doing the same task in that works as an assist thing. It wouldn't be like his work would be basically superseding yours. And
no, I mean Drake and me.
Yeah,
I think the issue as well would be that if it's a 5 difficulty for both of us working together, it's probably going to be a 5 difficulty if we're working separate. And I don't think I'd have much chance.
Yeah, I thought it might be easier if we just, if I were looking for my thing and you were looking for yours. But yeah, probably
won't help. Get anything.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Okay. Oh no, someone else would have to do my rolls again.
Oh, you still can't get in? Oh, that's a shame.
No.
All right. Well, if you want, I can roll for the ship, and Fox can roll for you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Fox, you want to roll for both the ship and him?
Oh, I don't care.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Man, do anything. All right, then yeah, you could do First, it'll be his roll. So let me just get a confirmation again. So there's no focuses to be used, right?
Unfortunately not yet.
Okay. And there is and there's no value for determination that either of you can use, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And you're going to use you're going to buy some dice though, right? Which will trigger your untapped potential, correct?
Yeah.
So are you going to use bold science somehow? You could explain that, where you would add threat to roll the dice, but that would also trigger your untapped potential. So it's either way. If threat gets used, then for a bold thing, because maybe how fast you have to look at this, that triggers both bold science and untapped potential. But you can mix and match as usual. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, I'm just distracted by the neighbor's dog. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Your voice cut out.
Whatever gives me the most dice, I guess. So.
Well, adding one threat is going to let you roll one more die, and you're going to have a chance at a free re-roll on it.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. So just one more die, or you could do 2 more points. Again, mix and match of either threat or momentum for a second die. But it's your call.
Yeah, I think I should get another one.
Okay, how would you like to buy that one? Threat, momentum, or one of each?
Okay, let's go with one of each.
Okay, so -1 momentum and +1 threat. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then you are now rolling 4 dice. Drake is rolling 1, and the computer is rolling 1. So that's a total of 6 dice. You need to have 5 successes.
So no more.
3 more points will get you the last die you could buy. You could roll a maximum of 5 on your own. So 3 more points, threat or momentum. You have 3 momentum left, and there is now a pool of 9 threat.
Yeah, maybe if I spend 2 more momentum and 1 threat.
2 more.
Oh my god. But yeah.
Okay. So now that is 5 dice for you. 5 dice for you. 1 from Drake, 1 from the ship. So that, I believe, is the maximum you could do at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's complication range what?
This one is complication range of 2 also. I apologize.
2,
complication range
and
of
then
2.
task roll 5.
Task roll 5 for Weber.
Roll 5.
Yes, make sure you have Weber's sheet.
Is it control or yeah?
This one is either reason or insight. Which one are you using, Weber?
Just have a look. Oh, reason, of course.
Okay, reason and science. And let's see, Drake, you're using which one?
Can I use reason and science as well?
Yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2. Okay, I think I got everything correct.
Yep.
There's the roll.
Okay. Well, there's 5 right there.
And then computers and science for the ship.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's 6. And now Drake has to do his roll, right?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did? I didn't see yours. Oh, that was yours. Oh, okay. Sorry.
And the how many task roll for the ship? 1.
It's 1, yeah. Okay. So that's 1 extra, and there's 1 complication
He could re-roll the complication.
You could re-roll the
with his
complication, yeah. So you got your 1 momentum back there, so you're at 2. And you can re-roll 1 die to try to get rid of that complication. Vapor.
Yes, please.
Okay, so just roll 1 more task roll, please.
1 more task roll, okay.
It's not a complication.
Well, at least got rid of the complication.
No complication, just no success. Okay. So you got 6 successes out of the 5 necessary, so you did it. Nice job. You got 1 point of momentum back. You're at 2 now, so that's a good thing. All right, so you spend a good couple of hours, about the same amount of time that Fox is down in engineering working on his thing too. Sifting through the data, running simulations with every piece that you uncover. Eventually, you start to get a picture. You start to get an image of this region here that you're trapped in. It does seem like it should be possible to escape as you are scanning this, because as you're examining the neutron star, the word was lost to me, as you're examining the neutron star itself and its behavior with its movement, it is still periodically emitting its relativistic jets of like super hot, super fast gases firing out from the poles as it's spinning. So these jets are clearly, the material being expelled is not coming back. So there is clearly a way out. And you're starting to get a picture of just how widespread this area is. So what you determine is that there clearly must be some kind of either escape velocity or escape angle, which would make extraction from this gravity well possible. Okay? So take that information into mind. Also, this is a use of computers, Mr. Weber, which means because of your science officer position, you get 1 free temporary bonus momentum that you can use for additional questions about the information you discover.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 1 free question to try to get more detail. Anything else, you'll have to spend momentum to get extra questions. So that's what the two of you have basically discovered, that yes, there is clearly a way out of it as it stands now. It's just a matter of knowing whether it's a speed factor, an angle factor, or a mixture of both.
Can I use this extra question to find that out? Which one would be easier to look for a vector or a certain speed?
Yeah, I could say that you could spend your bonus momentum. So it would be looking at the data, whether it seems that it's more of a match of, well, no, let me rephrase that. It seems to be that it's a little bit of both, that you're going to need to have a constant and high speed, just judging by the jet itself, the way the jets are escaping. And the angle is probably not as crucial. However, the only source that you notice, of course, is coming from these jets themselves. So that's really the only location that you have proof of something escaping from this area. So it's far more likely to be speed involved, but the angle itself is likely going to play at least some role in it. And as you know, as the neutron star is rotating, it's kind of wobbling. So the jet isn't firing in one single direction the entire time. It's kind of lighthousing its way around and firing off there. Okay, so hold that in mind and maybe discuss it between the two of you as we go to Fox. Specialist Fox, you've also, by this point, engineering has launched their probes. And you successfully modified them. Everything is going according to plan. You're waiting hours, of course, monitoring, making sure that they're still transmitting to you. You and the crew down at engineering are keeping an eye on all the data that's coming in, looking for clues. The engines, of course, cut off after a certain point, as expected. They keep going, and after a few hours of doing so, you start to notice that their course is altering in a somewhat counterclockwise rotation. They've all been fired off in different directions, but once they reach roughly the same distance away, again, pretty far out, but once they reach a certain distance away, they start to turn and start going backwards, counterclockwise. The longer you watch, the more you watch, you see their turns are completing as if they hit a ramp and they're just following the contours of this ramp. And with their engines off, now the gravity well at the center of it all, it's slowly starting to point them more back into the center. So after a while, you see they are going to be heading back into the system, and it's likely the same thing that happened to the DEGRASSE TYSON. You went to as far a point as you could get, and you just started following this curve, unbeknownst to yourself, which starts, of course, bringing you back towards the anomaly.
A side question, just about like state of technology at this point. How small do warp engines get?
How small in what aspect? How small, like physically?
Yeah, physically. Like, how much of a technical feat is it putting a miniature warp engine on a probe?
Well, a lot of the probes do have warp capabilities because a lot of them get fired long range. So yeah, yeah, you could get
that case. Yeah. In that case, then given the data, I will start working with the engineering department to modify another couple probes to have small warp capability on them, so that we can try firing them, and then as they go around the corner, using the warp edge to slingshot out and see if we can get one of these little suckers to escape.
Okay. All right. So you'll work on that again with the kind of repairs and modifications you did last time. I don't think a roll would be required on this one.
Especially because he has specialization in warp engine technology.
Oh, well, there you go. So yeah, this is something that's right up his alley, so he'll be fine with that. So he starts working on that, and you get it ready. Let's say you get it ready roughly at the same time that the captain wants, again, an update and calls everyone in for an update. So before that update, if Drake and Weber want to convene, and you too, Fox, since you're the one that's in charge of this with all your warp capabilities, and you're the one in charge of the probe project because it was your idea. If you would like to discuss anything together privately before going in with the captain, with the data that you've all discovered, I'll give that to you. Just let me know as I prep the next screen.
I mean, not that it's something we need to actually work through, but Fox would have consulted with the two of them just to go over their results with each other before going to present it to the captain.
So,
and maybe
go on.
Maybe the computers could run some simulations in the background while we're over there, just to look into all these aspects.
Okay.
Are we also able to, whilst we were doing all this, determine how the speed of the gas jets leaving the supernova?
Determine what? I'm sorry. One more time.
The speed of which the gas jets are moving out of the supernova. At what speed they're being ejected?
Pretty fast. It's like almost like speed of light with like how like we're approaching those kind of levels with how fast they're going out there.
So yeah,
Maybe
giving that
exactly
over to
speed.
Fox. Yeah, giving that to Fox so that he can try and match or mimic the speeds anyway.
Okay. So just making my notes. Okay. So because we're going to be launching the probes roughly the same time as the meeting, let's do the computer simulation now to try to give an advantage to the probe itself. So Weber, can you do that simulator there, which is that is a control, and I'd say that is a control and science for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you still need Fox to roll for you?
Yeah, it seems to be working right now.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, there you go.
Really quick. So
now to create an advantage, this is a difficulty of 2 task to make an advantage.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize. Because we didn't roll for the untapped potential on the last roll of Weber. So so can you also roll 1 challenge die first to see if you got any extra momentum out of that? Because you bought dice the last time.
Oh, I'm out again. Sorry.
Okay. Chris, can you do that again?
No.
Challenge dice.
Okay, no 21s this time, please. Okay, so there we go. That's 1 extra momentum that comes back to the pool. You have 3 in the pool now. Okay, so then we'll have, just, I guess, Chris, you could do the roll for him again.
Okay, so complication 2, you said?
This is difficulty of 2, so it's, so don't
Complication 1.
Yeah.
And how many times?
Or you know what? I do apologize. So I have so much of this stuff here. So I will spend 2 points of my threat to make that a complication roll of 3.
3, okay. What's the task roll?
Task roll is control, science, and 2 right now, unless he wants to buy another die.
2, okay.
So that's up to you, Weber. Do you want to buy an additional die? And now,
no, I think we can.
Actually,
we can still...
this could probably fit in. You're testing a theory now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you get 1 free D20 already. You don't have to buy it, so you'll get a task roll of 3.
Yeah, I don't want to buy any more because we could always come back to this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very much pets now. Okay.
Okay.
So task roll 3.
And is focused used?
I don't think you had one, correct?
No, that's not.
Okay. Sounds good. Here we go.
Okay. You got 2 successes, which is what you need, and you have a complication rolled. No rerolls on this because die wasn't purchased. It was just given via testing a theory. Okay. All right. So you got the computer simulation going. You got basically an angle of mimicking what the jets are doing. You can map the speed. That's the easy part. But the fact of the rotation and how it's changing so frequently with the rotation, that while it's known, the interactions with the gravity that is just wreaking havoc with everything here to begin with, that's an unknown. So because of that unknown, you can't get an accurate, you can't get an accurate angle. So while you are going to get an advantage for it, it is also going to up the difficulty a level. So it's going to be a bit harder for the probe to do its job. Okay?
Okay.
That's fine. All right, so we'll do that roll in a second, but first let's get everyone back into the conference room, as the captain wants an update on what's going on and the plan. Okay. So there we go. All right, you all sit down, and the captain hears what you are planning on doing. A few hours have passed, so not a significant amount of time. So the power is still pretty good on the ship. You don't have anything to worry about there. She confirms with that. But she wants to know exactly what course you are planning to take with the probes. Are you attempting to use that as a way to follow, to mimic what the probe is doing? Or are you going to apply what the probes show you and attempt a different route?
The initial, obviously, a lot depends on the results of the probes that are attempting to leave. But if using the warp drive, the probes are able to leave without showing any significant signs of distress, then we would build one more probe that would be a to scale replica of our ship with the not to look at it, but as far as like weight and weight to power to size ratio would be a closer replication of the DEGRASSE TYSON, and then we can try doing that in order to plot a course in which we could follow.
Very good. Mr. Weber, Mr. Drake, is there any issue that you notice in this plan that we might want to take into consideration?
No. Well, no. I think you should just. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I said it in a more professional way, but.
Okay. All right. Then, if that's the case, then Mr. Fox will just have your probe launch here and just checking everything is okay. So I want you. Actually, because it's a probe launch, I want Drake to be the one firing it, because usually tactical fires probes that have to be like on target and things like that. So Drake, that is going to be a control and security for you.
This is Drake, yeah. Control and security, which means I'm using the shipboard tactical systems, which is a focus of mine.
There you go. This will be it would be a difficulty of 2. It gets bumped up to 3 because of the complication, but then it also gets bumped back down to 2 thanks to the simulations that have been run. So it is a difficulty of 2.
Okay. How much threat and momentum are we currently sat at?
3 momentum and 8 threat.
That's a lot of threat. Then I'll use it's 1 momentum for the first dice, 2 for the second, right?
Yes.
Then I will take at least 1 extra dice using 1 of the momentum.
Okay.
To bring this down to 2, so I've got 3 task roll.
Yes.
Complication range 1.
A complication range is 1.
Let's hope Drake can press a button well enough. Fuck. Yes, he can.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, in fact. So that's plus 3 momentum coming back, bringing you back to 5, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So Drake fires the probe. Let's get everyone on the bridge watching it all excited like. Let's see, fires the probe. Where's Specialist Fox? Drake, you're back there. You don't need that guy. I knew you were doing that. Okay, so you fire the probe, and you watch it go out. I don't know. Can you see that? Yeah. No? It's not on my screen. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so you fire the probe, watch it go out, and you're following the course that's simulated. It goes towards the neutron star, and it begins its orbit. It increases its speed with the engine that's been modified on it by Specialist Fox, and it starts to mimic the path of the jet firing up. So its speed is increasing and its course is changing frequently, and it's following the course up. It is not curving, it's not coming back. It seems to be going pretty much in as you would hope that it does, like constantly readjusting its course. But that's when the 3 threat spend comes in, and you see with how fast that the star is spinning, rotating with the jets going, and seems the interference of the gravity itself. The word escapes me. I'm just saying the word complication because that's on my page. The calculations the probe is having to make, it's not keeping up with the spin properly because of this unknown pull that's also on it, and you see it start to collide with the jet itself. You get like massive surge of radiation data coming in before suddenly all signals are lost that the probe was on an escape course, but it got destroyed on the way out.
Well, that certainly wasn't ideal.
Yeah. Shall we try and correct the calculations based on what we generated and go again? Or would you suggest something else, Specialist Fox?
Yeah, I think we should do at least one more run. And thankfully, I have made several extra of the probes as we were going.
Okay, so you're getting ready to do that when another 4 threat spend comes in.
Jesus Christ.
And as you start heading towards the turbolift to head back to main engineering to get everything ready, the ship shudders a little. And the shudder, it starts getting stronger and more pronounced, and the lights start flickering. All the consoles too, they go out for a second. They start sputtering on and off. Captain Savik looks around and she asks for a report. Lieutenant Drake, at your console, you're checking all the security systems, and you're noticing just suddenly a massive drain in power. That what looked like you had weeks of energy reserves left if you're just idling out there suddenly has been cut down to days.
Damn. I pass this along to the captain, and then I try to search to see where this power drain came from.
Searching through, you can't really see where the drain is coming from. You think what it might be as you're looking into it is the fact that the distortions from the gravity are not only bending space but also bending time around it as well. So the fact that these distortions might start interacting with the warp field, and time is starting to pass a lot faster inside of the field itself.
And I pass this depressing news along.
So, are we saying then that by activating any warp engine, it's going to suddenly accelerate time?
Theoretically, it could potentially, maybe not accelerate time itself, but time is speeding up on its own inside there. So what you're using is being drained faster, even if you're not using it.
But does it seem that it was the warp engine from the probe that started this? Or are they two separate events?
I would say two separate events, like from what you can tell, because there's nothing that would link the two together.
Okay.
I just don't need to roll on that, and they give you that.
Well, I've been waiting for that new episode of my favorite drama to come out next week, so it's going to come that much sooner. I'm
just going to sit inside of the warp engine for a couple minutes, come out and watch it.
Okay, then we best get cracking then. We're on a lot less time than we thought.
Given that this is affecting time in the same way, is it perhaps one of the more science inclined personnel can look into whether this is related to some sort of black hole that we're not seeing, rather than a missing star? I mean, extremely dense, small. Perhaps we should adjust our scans to see if that is more accurate.
Are you asking one of the people present here, or just anyone that I may also be in control of?
I mean, if they don't have anything else, then that's something they could investigate. Otherwise, we can throw a science noob on the ship on it. I'm sorry, ensign.
Yeah, that's the official term of science noob. Yeah.
I mean, I could look into it, but that's probably going to be more of your area there, but if you've not got anything else to do. If you do, I can try, but I might get us killed.
I've been thinking about that the whole time, but I was afraid to make a fool of myself by getting the signs wrong and not knowing what a black hole is.
It's one of the... We don't know the terminology, so make some stuff up. We'll just nod along.
It's Star Trek. If it sounds right, then yeah, that's the answer. They just make up words. Where's Velik with his Technobabble chart? I missed that. Remember, it's on Roll20. Open that up and start spouting stuff off. That's all you need to do. Yeah, don't worry about it. We get every piece of science wrong here. So by all means, say what you want. Okay, so Weber, are you going to be the one that looks into whether it's a black hole? Or are you going to be focused on the escape itself? Because you know the probe was able to escape. It just wasn't able to anticipate for the gravity itself. So it's kind of like a case of just don't trust the machine to do what a living, breathing person can do. So the probe itself is pretty much a dummy flying out there. Mm. So you know it's possible to escape. It's just that the pilot of the probe was not capable enough to avoid danger.
Yeah, okay. Then I guess we have all the information we need about that. And I could look into the black hole question.
Okay.
I might have an idea on that one, actually. Because if we're able to modify the phases to be more of a light beam rather than directed energy, we could do a sweeping scan of the area, because if it's a black hole, then light would bend towards it, and basically there'd be a big black circle or a little black circle within the way we see. There's a bit of science techno crap there for you.
There's science techno crap.
Yeah, that's one way. Literally shine a light and see what we find.
Yeah. Shine the light on a black hole and see what happens.
And if we don't see the light, black hole. So yeah, I can assist like I did before, but Drake's just sat there twiddling his thumbs, all grinning, pretending he's doing science.
Okay.
That's probably something Specialist Fox should do, I guess.
Modifying the beam, yeah, that would be, wouldn't it? That's engineering call.
Yeah.
Well, that's something security could do too, since you have full access to that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
either
cool.
of you, yeah, either of you would be fine.
Okay. I'll try and play with the phases and not blow up the ship.
There you go. Specialist Fox, are you getting back on the probe or elsewhere? What is your goal?
Yeah, so I think that I am focusing on this second probe run for now.
Okay.
I look over Drake's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, well, after it finishes, we'll analyze the data to try and see if it needs more. I mean, I guess it'll depend on if it's successful or not. But assuming it fails again, we'll be trying to establish a correction that might possibly lead to a path that doesn't end in explosion or loss of probe.
Okay. And you were saying, Lieutenant Weber?
I was just saying that I'm looking over Drake's shoulder with one hand on the console, trying to not press 20 buttons at once. The Riker way.
Yeah. There you go. Now, just a mechanical thing I want to point out now, just for the sake of the game, with this huge power loss here, and since there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, we're now going to take the power of the DEGRASSE TYSON into account at 9. That's your starting power there that you have. So as the reserves are basically draining. So power 9. So now actions are going to cost you 1 power to complete. So this is creating basically a countdown timer of how much time you have left before the engines pretty much die on you, and you're just left to be in a black coffin drifting towards a neutron star. So you got 9 now, so every action you take is going to start ticking that down. Are we
able to turn off all non-essential systems?
This is assuming that you're already trying to manage all the systems as possible, and this is just with the gravity effect now starting to interact with the warp field and either the way, and you're cutting off as much power to the warp core as you can to try to make sure you're not using up more. But everything's going to at least take 1 power, so keep that in mind. The countdown has started, everyone. Okay? All right, so you are doing your phaser trick there, David. So why don't you do that? You're doing that by yourself, correct?
With Weber's assistance.
With Weber's assistance. Okay.
Every time I try and press backspace, he's like, no.
Yeah. Okay. So that is going to be for you. That's a simple thing. So it's a control and security on there because you're modifying security systems. Weber, you are going to be supporting with what would you like to support with, sir? How are you supporting it?
Let me just have a look. I guess reason would be most fitting. Reason, security.
Reason, security,
or engineer.
or
I mean, I have
I think reason science would fit too, because this is more he's doing the actual hands-on stuff with the security stuff, and you are making sure that the beam and everything is going to be correctly
Okay.
modified. So you're basically giving him the advice that he needs to get the beam correct, and he's doing all the physical changes to it and firing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I think reason science works perfectly fine with that. So Fox, can you roll for him the 1 die there? This is going to be difficulty of 1.
Okay.
Drake, anything else you're adding to it or no?
Well, focus on shipboard tactical systems.
Okay.
So I've got that. Yeah, well, we'll do that.
Sure.
I can't think of anything
So
else.
complication 1, task 1.
Yes.
Okay.
What do we need again?
1
to pass.
1.
Oh, a 1 to pass. Okay. Well, we're good. We got 2.
There you go. And you get 1 extra. You're capped off now at momentum. Look at that. So 6 momentum. Okay, you make the changes and you got the beam ready, so I assume you're firing.
Yeah, we'll use a... Where's all my things gone? It's not focused, but spread.
Oh,
Spread, that's the word.
Okay.
A spread beam to help with the scanning. But yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
All right, so you fire these modified phasers, and you're just spraying basically waves of energy up and down in that area. And once you get into that area that you already detected is the pinpoint of gravity there, you don't detect a black hole, but the way the light is curving and bending and twisting when it gets there, whatever is creating this clearly isn't part of this universe. It's clearly coming from subspace, so it's not a black hole that just hasn't been detected, but it must have the mass of a black hole to be bending the light like this. However, like, the light does not disappear and twists around as if there was an actual black hole that's there that would be basically preventing you from seeing what's on the opposite side, or at least clearly seeing what's on it without bending. So you're getting the information that clearly it has to be as gravitationally strong as a black hole, but it's not in this universe. But it's breaking through, at least some of its gravity is breaking through to create these distortions. If it were a black hole, you would probably be sucked into it already due to the proximity. Or at least you would be feeling far worse effects, but what it is massive, it's just not here.
All right.
Anybody know how to shut a subspace rip into another dimension?
And that takes you down to 8 power now.
Doesn't use too much power. How did we close the last one?
You pushed the ship through that was holding it up.
Okay, that's not gonna work.
There's no ship protruding through this one. You don't even know where a rift is, if there is a rift. It just may be whatever it is a thinned out layer of space between space and subspace, and that gravitational energy is bleeding through.
Okay. I guess it's time for the probe.
Okay. And Mr. Fox, you're firing the probe. What exactly? You're firing on the same course. What is the changes you're making this time?
Did we have any issue with retrieving the data, so the signal between us and the probe?
You got the data while it was coming in until the probe got destroyed.
So we could modify it in the way that it, rather than using its own onboard computers, we could link it up to the ship, so as it's a stronger computer base to make the calculations and corrections on a faster scale or bigger scale. If that means anything.
Yeah, and we could put in the data of how it was, because it was essentially like sucked into and hit by the jet stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can use that data to help increase its ability to avoid getting hit by the jet stream.
Okay.
Can't think of anything else.
No.
I'll raise that. What you want to try then?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's one more modification you are going to do on the probe. So can you do a control and engineering on it, difficulty of 2?
Okay. The complication
range is going to be 2 again on this one.
2, okay. And task roll then is...
Start with 2 unless you buy extra dice.
2, and we're at max, right?
Yes.
Use more.
So I'll do cautious engineering with it for buying an additional 1.
Okay.
So 3. Let's go.
Do you want to use a couple more momentum? Because we're at max, so you can use a bunch and be fine. Oh,
I'd already rolled it.
Halfway through I had the beep.
And you get
more than good.
Yeah, you get 2 back, which is 1 over the cap. So if you want to make any kind of spend on an advantage of that before that 1 evaporates, that's your call.
I use that extra momentum to put a little extra something in that probe, so as it goes shooting out, it actually leaves a little streamer out the back of it that says happy birthday, Captain, because it was her birthday like a week ago.
Okay. All right, so it has a streamer. All right.
Yeah.
A happy birthday streamer at light speed. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so you make your modification to the probe and you fire. This time, the probe is much more successful. It's following the course. It's adapting, but you see it's still having a very rough ride up because of just the speeds and the constant changing that's going on. Basically, it's getting out, but the engines of the probe are just not adaptable enough to maneuver like a starship or a what's it called, or like a shuttle, like a manned spacecraft could do. But it's a much more successful run this time before, again, it gets pretty much the same results. Before it can get to freedom, it's eventually caught and destroyed by the jet.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does show is that it is definitely a capable or possible route of escape that the starship could take. It would just need an actual better bit of flying, and maybe just better computers on board to calculate and compensate. But your plan is successful.
Okay. Well then, do we want to risk losing a shuttle and send, because they have warp capability, right?
Yes.
So we could remote control one, remote pilot one from here, and have it go along the same calculated route, given its adjustments for its size and weight. and that way it would have the more similar and complicated or more capable set of engines and computers, and it would be a better representation of the ship. But we're at kind of a point where it seems like sending more probes is not going to help.
Mm-hmm.
And this way we wouldn't be risking anyone's life. It would just be, at worst case, we would lose a shuttle. But that's a lot better than all of us being stuck here.
Agreed.
I mean, unless someone wants to actually fly it out, well, I mean, go for it.
Too bad Thadagio's not here. He's the shuttle pilot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the brig. We can throw him onto a shuttle.
Oh, that's the Shran. That's the Shran. Yeah, and the Shran is the good pilots. And like, hey, we got a job for you.
Get out, get in.
Best way out of the brig is to fly into a black hole and neutron star that's colliding to each other. Won't that kill me? Nah.
Period.
Just do it.
Probe was fine.
Yeah. Hey, there's no more probes down here. Where'd they all go? Nah, just get in the shuttle. Okay. All right. Is that the plan? Anything from Weber? Any kind of input there? You want to do that? Oh, your power's down to 7 now. So last 7 actions before you lose everything.
Oh, no, I think I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Then let's see here. How about, all right, you want to modify the shuttle itself. So this is going to be a pretty massive undertaking. So it's going to be, because time is of the essence as well. So we're going to say it is a difficulty 2 to undertake it, but it's going to have a complication range of 4. It's going to have a complication range of 4 in that. Complications that are rolled might take additional power down as the time is being eaten. Okay?
Okay. Well, and I start with task roll 2, correct?
Yes. And anyone is free to help in whatever way they deem possible.
Okay. And they do separate rolls, so they don't limit, like someone else helping doesn't limit my cap of 5.
Yeah, that their rolls, any assistance is 1 extra die that is not part of your pool.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will use 3 momentum to bring this up to 5.
3 momentum will get you 2 more dice.
Oh, 2 more dice. Okay, I'll do that then, up to 4.
Okay.
And then I've got cautious engineering with that, so I can re-roll if need be.
Yes.
And I will roll.
Okay. Okay. And you have a chance to roll that.
Re-roll that 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, got rid of the complication.
Okay. So there you go. That is 2 more momentum returned. And that takes the power down to 6. Okay. So you got the shuttle modified. It's ready for remote control. So I would say that since we don't actually have a pilot here, the person who would be remote controlling it would be Drake, I would imagine, since he's at the controls for most of the remote things that go out there, such as probes and torpedoes and that.
It's not the best pilot, though.
Not the best pilot.
Just going to throw that out there.
Unless somebody wants to create a pilot right away and use that person.
Probably going to need one. Yeah, how do we do that? Let's create a pilot, because I will straight up crash it.
Okay.
Okay.
Like into the doors on the ship. I'll have just forgotten to open the doors. That's how bad I am.
Let's see here.
I need to step away for a minute. I'll be back in a minute.
That's fine. I'm gonna make a thing.
Okay, Starship Adventures character creator. Here we go. Let me get that link to you real quick. I'll put it in Discord. Discord, and then you could just send the sheet to me later. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Tell me when it's open.
Yep. Characters and star sheets. What else?
Just go, yeah, well, select all is probably crazy. Well, just click select all. Why not? Next generation, mid-24th century.
Yep.
Supporting character.
Yep.
Okay. Character type is Starfleet. Purpose department. Department is con. Or pilot, or whatever you want to type for it. Species, it's your choice what species you want. Now, you selected all, so there's going to be a ton of species that aren't applicable for here, but I just want you to have access to all the talents and that. So, yeah, don't get too crazy.
Aw, I want a Jem'Hadar.
Yes, I don't think that they were on the ship at this time. That would be crazy. Like, should we mention to Tosk here about the fact that the war is going on?
Nah, it's fine. He's a friendly one. Let's just do a Vulcan.
Do a Vulcan. Okay, Vulcan. Okay, so you need to do, let's see here, discipline. Let's see. You could, well, first the attributes. They're piloting, so control's probably good. Daring is probably good. That's pretty good for a pilot already, right? Do you have 1099 887?
87, yeah.
Okay. For disciplines, you probably want con to be the one with 4 in it, so you would probably switch the 3 and the 4 by clicking on them. What do you think would be his second highest, or her second highest, whatever it is?
Well, this is going to be an ensign, so we'll drop command down and we'll swap that with probably engineering. Would make more sense.
Okay, so command 2, engineering 3, security 2, science medicine 1.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 focuses, probably something piloting or anything you want. In addition as well.
God, yeah. What, just piloting? Or should I get a bit more specific?
You could do just helm operations. Okay, 2 other focuses that this person has.
Runabout racer.
Oh, there you go. How about
just a bit quicker, and then the final one maybe jury rigging.
There you go. Jury rigging.
Yeah, could fix the ship if need be.
Helps with the engineering there. Okay, ensign and needs a name.
Crap. Vulcan names. Vulcan name generator.
There you go.
Let's go with a female. Names, because we don't have many of them. I literally have no idea. I could be generating male names at this point. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Let's go Vunvi. It's got a V in it. V for Vulcan. Vunvi.
Okay, how you spell that?
V-U-N-V-I.
Vunvi. Okay, pronouns, she, her.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's new on the sheet here. Okay, and then there you go. So export it to PDF, and you could save that and send it to me later. And there you go. We got
TNG.
Ensign Vunvi. We don't have a picture for Vunvi, unfortunately, but we'll get one by next time, because she will then be put in the what's it called? She'll be put in our
Roll20.
Roll20 and our spreadsheet of crew members too. So we'll take her. She'll be the badge next to you here at tactical.
How the heck am I gonna roll for her?
Actually, you know what? Let me do that. We could make it. Okay, there you go. So I'll just put her at the helm there. So how's that? All right. So you got Vunvi. So the other guy, he wasn't there today. Okay.
That's Vunvi, by the way. Uploading to Discord.
So Roll20. I think I could do that. So hang on a second. I'll just do a character. Von V in Player's Journal. All players can be edited by all players. Let's see, just don't really need to do this all right now, but just for the sake of it. Character sheet. Okay, so again, what's her control? Can you read off control, fitness, presence?
Yep, let me just open that again. Control 11, 10, 8, 9, 8, 8.
I don't know if it's in the right order. Control, fitness.
Control, fitness, presence, daring, insight, reason.
Okay, one more time then.
So control 11, fitness 10, presence 8, daring 9, insight 8, reason 8.
Reason 8. Okay, and then command, security, science.
Command 2, security 2, science 1, con 4, engineering 3, medicine 1.
Okay. And let's see here. Then focuses was helm operations.
Runabout racer and jury rigging.
Runabout racer. And jury rigging. Okay, that's all we need right now. And I think that's the character should be there. I think she's saved. So, Von V, I will take her down to supporting characters. We don't actually have a tab for her department, so I'll put her in science right now next to Lutant. So there you go, you got the sheet for her.
Cool, got it.
Later, can you look for a picture for her online and send that to me, and I'll update that as well.
Will do.
Whatever image you got for Von V. Okay, so it goes down to Ensign Von V to make the piloting roll to try to get that thing out of there, right?
Yep.
All right, so that is going to be, again, control and literal, control and con. Control and con. It's going to be usual difficulty of 1, but it's difficulty of 2 because remote piloting again, not there for instant pilot reaction. So difficulty of 2. Complication range on this is also 2.
Cool, and I'm going to use 1 momentum to get us up to 3 task roll.
1 momentum, there you go. Still have 4 momentum left.
Cool, we'll save that for a little bit for now, because we need it when we fly the ship. And my focus is on.
Focus is on, yes sir. Okay.
Come on, Funvi. Hey.
Hey, there we go. So
she did a job.
Yes, she did. She got that momentum back that she spent. All right, so she pilots the shuttle, and you see the shuttle is rocking and shaking and just flying in this wild pattern as it's trying to match the rapidly shifting angle of this jet at these relativistic speeds that it's going out of, as it's basically approaching light speed, using warp to get through there. And with the control of Von V there, it's a rough ride, and it looks like the shuttle is getting banged up a bit, but it seems to clear. The data comes back, yeah, and you see Von V, you get the data that you are out of the gravitational field, and that data is coming back to your station.
Yay. Now let's do it with the ship.
What's that?
Now it's time to do it with the ship.
Okay. Are you back, Fox?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with the ship, it's a much more massive vehicle, as you can imagine, and you're going to have to go to warp as well. So this is going to cost you, again, 1 point of energy to go in, plus 1 point for each warp level you go to. So, what warp factor are you going to use? You have 5 points of power left.
Oh, that sounds like we don't have enough to go to warp factor 96.
95 is your maximum right now.
What was the shuttle at?
The show was
What
just
did they say?
the show was just going at warp factor 1, just the basically the easiest to control.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'll discuss with let's see, what is it? Vunvi?
Vunvi. You got it
Vunvi?
right. Yeah.
As to what warp factor she feels comfortable controlling the ship at for this kind of piloting, based on her experience that she just had with the shuttle.
Well, following reason, as we are low on energy, a warp factor of 1 would be advised, as it also allows you more time to adjust to any unexpected situations. We could increase if needed at the time. However, I believe we should start out at warp factor 1.
Well, then, before we attempt it, I would like to use my computers and warp engine specialties to write a piloting program for pilot assist program for the ship that takes into that uses the data from the probes and the shuttle to help assist in avoiding any chance of being hit by the jet stream, considering how fast it is, and it might be difficult for a regular conscious person to react fast enough. So if we can have the ship automatically predict and react, it should make the journey safer.
Okay, sounds good to me. So again, to create a advantage like that, that's going to be a difficulty 2 task of programming.
Okay.
So if
probably control engineering still, or control science?
I would say for this would be more control and science.
Okay.
And you're using the computers to do that as well, so computers on the ship can support you in creating this.
Okay.
So somebody can roll for the computers if you would like.
Okay. Complication 2?
Complication range of 2. Yes, 2. Yes.
Okay. And task roll starts at 2, and I'll bump it to 3?
Yes, and somebody is also rolling for the ship computer.
Yeah, I can do that. Computer science focused on complication range 2 or 1?
Complication range 2.
There we go.
Okay. And I can re-roll 1 dice.
Okay, I
Correct.
see what the roll is. Yeah, because you used 1. You bought You bought a thing, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So re-rolling 1, no help. So I've got 1 success.
Okay, and Drake, you roll for the computer, right?
Yep.
So that's 1. So as long as the lead person gets at least 1 success, then the supporting success counts. So that's 2 successes.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's what you got. Okay, so yeah, you got your program written, and it's there to assist Vunvi. And you are now down to 4 power units left. Okay, so it's time to go, yes?
Looks like it.
Okay, Captain.
So we don't die.
Captain Savik is making sure everyone's making preparations. Captain Savik turns to science. Mr. Weber, I would appreciate if you would also utilize the sensors to help assist in this attempt to get out, to make sure there are no spikes in gravity that might interfere.
Yes, ma'am.
If we are ready to go, take us out, Ensign.
Yes, ma'am. Well, is Weber gonna actually do a roll, or?
Yeah, Weber, he can roll and assist in there if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
So, Weber, that would be basically your scanning, so a science roll for you. regular control and science, right?
Okay.
How's that sound, or do you have a different idea?
Yeah. No. Sounds good.
As far as, so Vumbi, you're going to be doing the piloting. Now this is going to be difficulty 3 for the bigger ship, and well, I apologize. It's difficulty 4 for the bigger ship, but because of Fox's computer program, it knocks it down to 3. And it's going to have a complication range of 3 as well.
Okay, so we have...
Okay, so that's a 5 and... Oh, Julian, when you roll, you're only going to be rolling 1 die as support.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was wondering why 2 numbers per bar. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Also, Chris, the ship is also going to support, since you're flying the ship, and that is going to be engines and con.
Okay, engines.
Okay, Julian, you got a 4, which I believe is exactly well within your thing. You didn't have a focus, so it just counts as 1 success, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 success there.
You say complication was 3 or 4?
Complication is 3.
3, okay. And then it's just 1 for the ship task.
And just rolling 1 for the ship, that's right.
Okay.
And we've got 4 momentum, so I'm going to get 2 more dice.
Okay.
Although we're doing pretty well so far. So we're down to 1 momentum. I'm rolling 4 dice. Focus on complication range. Control con. Please. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's good. She's better than Drake.
Yeah. Vumbi is really like earning her keep
Showing
here,
good
isn't
stuff.
she? Okay.
Strawn better watch out.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the brig. She's trying to show off.
Yeah. Somebody's aiming for a promotion here. Okay, so Vumbi basically arcs the ship around the jet and is following it as warp 1, going up. With a roll like that, I really can't even say that the shaking is very bad. I mean, look at that roll. I would show everyone, but it's not bothering to show up on OBS anymore. But 5 successes on her own, plus 1 success for Weber's scanning, making sure that the optimal information from the gravity is coming in, and from Specialist Fox. What just happened here?
I put it all in share screen in
Okay.
Zoom so that we can see
Okay. Like, I'm looking like what the hell just happened? Like, I'm trying to read things on screen. Like, oh my god, I hope my computer's not dying right now. Okay. Yep, there it is. So we got 1 from his roll 4, 1 from the Starship engines, and 5 from Vumbi. No complication at all, and 7 successes when 3 were needed. So 4 go over top, you're capped out, and 2 over. There we go. So the ship just shudders and shakes kind of like rough turbulence on an airplane as the DEGRASSE Tyson threads its way around the jet and explodes out the other side.
Please don't use that word.
Explodes. With only 2 units of power remaining. And you got thrown clear. And there's a deep sigh of relief let out on the bridge. Captain Savick says, "Very good, Mr. Vumbi."
Miss.
Mr. as it's an officer. So.
Fair enough.
There you go. Unless she's really a stickler about these things. She turns around.
Well,
I prefer Miss. It's like, you're
she's
fired.
Vulcan, so
Fired. Get off the
it
ship.
is where it is.
Get off the ship. And Captain Savick stands up, turns around, looks at all of you, the 3 members who were the epicenter of this solution. It says, "Very good job, everyone. We successfully freed ourselves from this endeavor, and we've got quite a lot of data to sift through. Let's continue to do so from a safe range once we get our power and our engines restored to full functionality."
Yes, ma'am.
Roger that.
And she goes and excuses herself to the ready room where she can let go of her Vulcan emotions and cry because she thought she was going to die today. Okay. All right. So that's all done. You are safe. You got your data. Some time has gone by as you're waiting for Commander Lalk to return. Wait, hang on a second. I gotta do this here. Give me 1 second. And we'll just... So you're back to a point of having some free time around as you're just there in space. Is there anything anyone would like to do very quickly as a kind of closing scene for your character?
Well, if there's any Bajoran meditation technique to get rid of the stress, like you just said, encountered, maybe I could try it out and monitor my body and brain functions while doing so.
Okay, so you're going to go into your little shrine there to practice that, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, as you're heading into the shrine, Talar is coming out of the science lab. Like, "Oh, you're hiding in the closet again, huh? I guess the work's done for today."
There's no need to hide in the closet in the 24th century.
Yes, well, whatever you're doing in there, have fun. I mean, I guess I'll just go finish processing all these terabytes of data that we collected. Don't worry. I got it by myself.
Enjoy.
Oh, I will, because, I take pride in my work, unlike people who have to hide in dark rooms instead of doing their job. But, yeah, enjoy. You enjoy, too. You enjoy, too. And he goes walking off wherever he's going. Not to the science lab. He just came from there, so whatever he's doing, it's not work. Okay, so Weber goes in. Drake, anything you would like to do?
Well, as soon as Drake got some free time, he was back in the holodeck with Tadagia banging on the door about the finals for the bowling tournament.
Okay, ignoring him.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Okay, you just hear...
I'm in the middle of a...
Well, Specialist Fox, now that he served his role, is just going to do the quiet Homer meld and back into the bush, disappear.
Hey, I'll have you know that Specialist Fox has been in the background of multiple scenes of these episodes, and he even had a few roles in the earlier episodes too. So he's one. He could be one of those characters that just like Chief O'Brien. He was there from episode 1, and then by the end of the run, he's a star of Deep Space Nine. So hey, keep your eye on Fox. Big things coming. Big things coming from him. Anything from Lutant?
No, I mean, Lutant has taken this opportunity to continue to prepare for the remaining crew evaluations, considering there are some difficult ones ahead.
Yeah, there's a few tricky Pete's on her schedule coming up here, or at least one glaring one, I should say. Okay, and before the episode closes out, we cut back into the Bajoran shrine at the end of Weber's meditation. He's sitting there. Describe how you're meditating, Mr. Weber.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm guessing there's some...
Neither do we. You're the Bajoran cultural expert here, so you tell us what it looks like.
Well, most likely I'm sitting down on a cushion, crossing my legs. A regularly religious Bajoran would probably hope for some message from the prophets or something. Well, I don't know if there's some mantra they recite or something. I don't. Yeah, I guess that's. I'm probably make some strange noises and hope for some supernatural insight.
Okay.
Which I would not classify as supernatural, but yeah.
Okay.
I do everything by the book, but of course with a very skeptical mind, and looking forward to seeing all the readings later.
Okay. So you do your strange noises and your chanting and your positioning, and your time is over. You get done with that, and you want to go review the results. So you go put out the candles. You get everything safely secured over there, and on your way out, just as you're about to step out, you get this odd feeling like you're being watched, like there's somebody else in the room with you, and you think you even hear the soft sounds of footsteps on the carpeted ground at the back of this shrine you created. But when you turn and you pause for a second when you hear that, and when you turn to look behind you, there's nothing there.
Computer, did you sense anyone else in here?
Negative.
Does it wear off in some ways? Does it still feel real, or is it?
After you turn around, look, and you see nobody's there, then it feels the sensation's gone.
Okay.
It just when you're walking to the door. What's that?
I mean the impression. Does that wear off as well? Or, so does it feel like hallucination, or does it keep feeling real?
It felt real as you were leaving. It just felt like suddenly you were not alone, and somebody was just stepping not close to you, but at the back. It felt like you heard somebody just take a soft step. But then you turn around, look, confirm nobody is in there with you. It's now dark, with just little wisps of smoke coming from the now darkened candles. But there's nobody else there, and you no longer have that sensation. So
okay, I'll definitely put it in my personal log and keep thinking about it, and
okay.
And it won't wear off over the next. It's not like a dream that you at some point you kind of forget or realize hasn't been real. It stays with me.
Okay, yeah, because it wasn't something during meditation. It was just you're on your way out. You're thinking about going over your data very scientifically, and then you just got this sensation like, hang on, somebody's here, but nobody was there. And then you make note of it, and you head out to examine your findings. The doors close behind you, but the camera lingers inside the darkened room and pans slowly towards the back, showing there's nothing there. But then the end credits start to roll.
Oh, okay.
And there we go. We're going to stop there for today. Kind of fast track the ending a little bit there, just cutting out a lot of the fluff that we had in here, because it was just a kind of downtime episode anyhow, and like the three of you, I think you did a great job. So it's going to be our brief little post-action report, but I just want to end the episode. So thank you all for watching, whoever watched. Thank you for watching me talk to 3 silent pictures again for 2 weeks in a row, which I'm not uploading that, so no, you did not see that video, but that
recording stopped.
That scared me. Thanks for that, Chris. Thanks for the heart attack there. All right, so the other recording stopped, but my recording should still be going. But anyhow, thank you very much. That's the end of episode 6, All Things Seen and Unseen. Hopefully you will be seen in the next episode, which is a special one. It's another doozy, so we'll see how that goes. But peace. See you next time.